Voor de hotel. Voor de hotel.
Your talk, to me, expressed the idea that if you want to live a free and autonomous life, you cannot be politically passive. That's a contradiction. If you're politically passive, you've given up and you are not autonomous anymore. And I was remembering an old Digger broadside. You remember Timothy Leary in the 60s said, turn on, tune in, drop out. And so a lot of people dropped out of society and created an alternative, thinking they could escape. And in the United States, with the Vietnam War, many people had to escape the draft. Otherwise, they'd be asked to go kill people who meant us no harm. So the alternative built out of this reality. But today we live in a different reality, and I wanted to just suggest that we reevaluate the idea that we're living in an alternative. And that in reality, there is no alternative. There's one planet, and there's just a big, mutually contradictory culture tumbling around and fighting and compromising and cooperating and loving and struggling. And we are part of that one big culture. And we are waging the ideas that we hold dear in it. But we are not an alternative. We are like a disease that wants to spread. That's your reaction.
Thank you very much. I like that a lot. I'll keep it short, make it a dance. I think that the term alternative suggests that we are a funny frivolity on the side, and it would be nice to be more, and indeed to be insidious and to drop in and out. I'm absolutely in agreement with the previous speaker about the big and wide streets connecting any free space to the outside society. The point of being militant is not to say that all the other peoples are bad. No. The point is to say that we can change things together, that the reality we live is largely human-made, so it's partly nature, luckily still, but we need to keep it that way. But yes, so indeed you are always interacting. You're always interacting with your social world, and please keep on doing that, and please do it in a way that so that it changes things and that you have been part of it. Thank you.
There is always a short of time, but there is always time for dance performance. So I ask for silence. Please your attention for art. Kuzlica. I already thought I will be pronouncing it wrong. Here is Inga Holmogorova.
Hello everybody. Hello everybody, thank you so much for coming and thank you so much for inviting me here. And first of all I would like to introduce myself because there are some confusions about who I am and whom I'm representing. So my name is Gina Hilbert and I am a representation and PR on behalf of Amsterdam-based artist Inga Holmogorova, who's supposed to be speaking here today. And furthermore, how come I'm here in general? Valentin Tsin, another artist from Moscow, supposed to be here and represent Guslitsa. However, he has a performance in Moscow. So he's gone and he collaborates with Inga Holmogorova, who also can be here. So I am representing her. So I'm representing Inga, I'm representing Valentin, and on the top of everything, I represent Guslitsa, which is a free cultural space in Russia. So just let's start with Guslitsa. This is what we're here for. And then later on, I introduce those two artists a little bit in more detail because of the concept they're developing for Guslitsa, which might be spread through other free cultural spaces around the world. So, firstly, Yes, you can go on with the next one. So Guslitsa is a creative hub, a cultural hub, as they call themselves, and they're located about 77 kilometers from Moscow. And it's a huge territory, thousands of square meters, and once it used to be a factory. It was a factory for cotton and wool production, textile factory from 19th century, and nowadays this is what is known as free cultural space based there. So next one please. It's a new initiative as they started over a year now, so first baby steps, so to say. And it's probably a little bit different from other cultural spaces which were introduced today in terms that it's a private initiative. So this territory and the terrain and the factory was bought by one lady, and she decided to establish this cultural free space there. So it's actually a privately owned terrain. And the idea of Guslitsa is, of course, as you see here, is to run international art residency for cultural exchange, also art festivals, exhibitions, art production, and educational activities, such as various workshops and courses and seminars. Also, there is possibility for people to come and research, to make a certain research and use the library there and work with people who are also in the residency at that moment, which could host about 70 people at a time. And next one, please. And Guslitsa works very multifunctional, so there is no certain preference for certain media or for certain art type. Everything is welcome, and at the moment, because they are 1 year old and they're trying to establish the image and show the head, and especially for Russian government, which is the whole different story. I will touch upon the things later on. So they're working on the image, and they invite people from all over the world to come with whatever proposals they might have and actually be residents there and work there. And they created living conditions. They converted part of the factory, again for private funds, to make accommodations for the artists. Also they have a dance studio, they have like workshop seminar rooms, and huge exhibition space, and places also for ateliers where actually artists, various sculptors or painters could work. And they run master classes on like from body-mind training to drawing, activities for kids and adults alike. And they also do various exhibitions. And actually a Biennale is coming up. It's an international contemporary art exhibition from September 18th, if I'm correct, till October 23rd. So it's going to be a massive event, one of the biggest actually, and they're currently preparing for it. Also multidisciplinary, so artists of various disciplines will be showing there, and they're expecting about, it's hard to say, but like 700 people at least at the opening. Right, let's go to the next one, please. About the surroundings of Guslitsa. It's located near one of the villages, so it's like 70 kilometers, 77 kilometers from Moscow. And it has a beautiful nature, it's like in the middle of nature. There's a lake, there is a pine forest, and there is the close village, also very historical, with an authentic church from 18th century, if I'm correct or so. So basically it's a beautiful environment. Let's go to the next one, please. Yes, that's the church I was talking about. Let's go further. And this is also in the nearest village. It's also like a world-famous historical site of those windows. Next one, please. Yeah, it's basically like if artist wants to feel being in Russia and really immersed in the Russian culture, that would be a nice place to actually work in, so to say. So let's go to the next one. And this is the transformation which actually took place. So this is how it looked in summer 2012. It's a very young place, right? So it was abandoned factory in rather rough conditions. As you see, beautiful, however, but not really suitable for artists in residency and so on. And this is how it looks now. Yes, so as you see, a transformation indeed took place. There is a beautiful dance studio, as you see, where a lot of choreographers and dancers from around the world is coming and training people and making productions. There is also space to make other visual arts, like massive scale installations, sculpture, painting, you name it basically. And there are facilities for people to sleep. They can also stay, some people, artists with their families and so on. Let's go to the next one. So there is a lot of reading, so I won't go through all of that, but you can just a little bit grasp the size of the space itself. And you see some photos of some of the activities, some of the spaces. So I think the Biennale they're preparing at the moment is going to be in this huge hall, and also outside, obviously, because during the winter it's kind of harsh to work outside in Russia, but during summer they have plenty of outdoors space as well on the territory. Yes, and this is for accommodations, so just like quite humble, but everything is there. And how it works, basically, because they don't have any financing from whatsoever, either government nor private investors. It's just this one lady who bought the facility and renovated it to the standards that it's actually possible to invite people to come over, stay and work. So artists are welcome to come, and then they contribute with whatever they can, sort of thing. So it's advised like to contribute something for accommodation, maybe like something like, I don't know, 5-10 euros a day, or per meals, and so on. But also artists are welcome just to stay there if they don't have money and contribute with the labor. Like there is loads of work to be done everywhere, and also they can cook for themselves, so it's quite cheap to stay and live there. Comparing with other residences where you actually have to pay a certain fee, and it's rather expensive. And then you get your studio and your accommodations. So this is how they function at the moment. Yes. Just to mention a few of the residents, some whom I know personally because I represent some of the Buto dancers and some choreographers. So Ken Nai, it's a Japanese Buto dancer and choreographer who's based in Finland, world famous, giving workshops and touring around the world. Was also resident in Ruigoord and created actually performance, training local people who came for the workshop, and after a few days of work, they actually made a production, and local people were part of it as well. Also Valentin, whom I represent, Miguel, Mandala from Spain, and some famous Russian artists like Korbut, he's a painter. Just to mention a few. And Kustritsa also has ambitions and aspirations to be a kind of beacon in ecological way of living, which quite few, actually all of the previous speakers put emphasis upon. So they also have their own way of compost and dealing with the energy, and they're quite self-sufficient and green as much as possible. So that's part of their focus. And they also train, so they give certain workshops and activities in Russia, how to be self-sustainable and how to produce, basically how to live green. So there are workshops on these issues, and people come from all over the world to actually work and share their knowledge, because in Russia it's maybe not that advanced as in Poland or in Denmark and other countries still. So that's why Kustritsa is intending to actually invite some of the people who do work ecologically, who have self-sustainable art spaces, to come and share their knowledge, maybe give the workshop, or at least present their space from wherever they come, and show to locals, because they actually gather people from different art institutions and just artists and just farmers, whoever are interested, to actually see and exchange the knowledge, ask the questions and promote. Yes. So, next one. I think we are at the end. Yes. Yes. So, as you see, a lot of activities happening. What I talked about already. Yeah, just some of the artists are already mentioned as well. Let's go further. Yes, like say they hold the German Youth Film Festival. And this is some of the activities planned as I spoke. So this is so much about the Guslitzer. And the funny story that Valentin Zinn, who was actually a resident in Guslitzer and was working there for a while, training people and making production performance, could not be here. So I'm here to represent Inga Holmogorova, who actually collaborates with Valentin because of their way of working. And just a little bit, I want to ask you, is anybody here who knows what Buto dance is? Yeah, I see some hands, very nice. And for those who don't know, I can't say what Buto is. Buto masters can't say that, but I can just describe a little bit. It's a Japanese contemporary dance which originated in the 50s as an avant-garde dance to everything which is traditional and classical. So it's not a form-based dance, but rather the state, body-mind balance is important, and state of mind of the dancer, whose task is to become as empty as possible, to be able to originate authentic and organic form and resonate with whatever there is at the moment. So I represent those two artists because I also organize the events, such as Bhutan Sound Night in Overton 301. I had the last edition in May. And in other places, I also worked in NDSM and in ADM in Amsterdam, and some movies later on will be screened as well from some of the performances. So these people, the way they work, they they give a workshop which is open to anybody who can walk and interested in movement. Then they train those people, and whoever wants from those people, they can participate in the production. So they can dance in the piece. And the belief is that through that, through transformation of the body, the transformation of the space is possible, and affecting of the audience for further transformations also. And another idea is to hold in Guslitzer an international curator festival, which would be further spread throughout all the residencies around the world. So if you are interested in that, you can ask me afterwards. Of course, and I'm just checking time, like time is always precious matter, so I don't even know how to deal with that, but time is on our side. The break will be shortly, and during the break I'll be screening 2 of the videos from those 2 dancers I represent.
Take care.